Michael Spiby from the Badloves. Welcome to Australian Musician.
Greg, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
It's all happening for the band in April when you re-release Get Onboard. It'll be available on vinyl. You also head out on tour. When the album came out, when did you first get an inkling that the album was doing okay?
I can honestly say that I don't remember getting an inkling at all because we were working so hard. I guess we were getting reports in, but it was such a blur. I felt disconnected. We all did. We felt disconnected from what was happening in the marketplace because we were working so hard and for so long. So it's weird. Once we made the music, it was all very abstract and remote from us.
Yeah.
Very, very strange feeling.
What are your memories of the studio sessions? Did it take a long time to make this record?
No, it didn't. We were on a bottom of the barrel budget in at Metropolis in South Melbourne studio, beautiful old studio that used to be Armstrong's. It was called. But I remember being overjoyed because it was a dream come true for us. And also that we were left pretty much alone to do what we wanted to do. That's not quite accurate. We did have a A&R man, a fabulous Bill Page, but he perhaps foolishly entrusted us with a bit of liberty that perhaps we shouldn't have had. So we were just able to do what we knew had to be done, which was fabulous. It was what a great company. No one else would even look at us in terms of signing and to do an album. So we were just grateful to get signed at all and to then be able to make the record that we wanted to make. Yeah. So yeah, pretty grateful for that.
Yeah, the album gave you 4 hit singles: Lost, Memphis, I Remember and Green Limousine. Did you recall, were there any tracks on the album that were hard to nail?
Actually, Green Limousine, now you mention it, was incredibly hard to nail. I guess it was slotted as a potential single by the record label in the lead-ups, in the demos and things, and when we played live. But I remember it took us, I don't know, maybe 10 hours. That's my memory. It felt like weeks of just continuous playing. So we played during the day, we started the track, and overnight we were still recording into the wee hours because it just didn't feel right. It didn't have something was missing. We didn't know what it was. We had no template stylistically that we were chasing. So there wasn't anything particular that we could point at, although I think Al Green was probably the closest thing we could think of. He seemed to have that magical touch where everything was just lightly played and turned out incredibly cool. But then, that's Al Green. So that's not us. So eventually we got something that we thought was pretty entertaining. It made us laugh and want to dance almost, So we knew we'd nailed something, but the response from the record company was pretty overwhelming and put us in our place. And they came in and said, "Yeah, well, look, that was a good song, but we think you've lost it now. There are other good songs. Don't worry about it. That one didn't make the cut, but there'll be others." And we went, "What are you talking about? It's exactly what it took us 10 hours to make, that sort of thing." And we loved it. And we were frustrated they couldn't see it. So we had to stand our ground. There was a bit of a standoff for a little while with that particular song.
Yeah.
Got our way.
Where did your love of soul and R&B come from?
Well, I was in love with Ray Charles. So in the years leading up to that the Badloves actually solidifying, I was writing for a project that would have those qualities, the things that I loved about Ray Charles and R&B, and I'm ashamed to say it, I had a Ray Charles soul cover band called the Mexican Hotskins that had a support slot to the comedy down in the Hilton, Melbourne Hilton. And we would play through the early hours, just all R&B songs and old soul stuff. So I wanted the band to have those same sort of traits, and we would learn from those, Al Green and Ray Charles and all the great Stax Records, staple singers, those sort of people, even down to gospel, not modern gospel, but early gospel and the spirit. You listen to some of those records and it gives you immense joy. You can see why people were swept up, because they somehow managed to get the spirit of their playing, and their enthusiasm is there when you listen to that stuff. And the studio and that are two very opposite worlds. And I wanted to capture something live, and the band we could play live. By the time we got in the studio, we played a hell of a lot, hundreds and hundreds of gigs a year. So I guess that was the template, if you like. Sorry, I've gotten way off track, but that was our reference point. Yeah.
Yeah. So fast forward almost 3 decades, you're taking this album out on the road. You're the only original band member. Tell me about the new band.
So the new band is fantastic, lot of players. It's been a revolving door between old and new for about the last 5 or 6 years. So the new band, we've got Jeff Consey on drums, phenomenal player. They're all incredible players. I'm very humbled to be working with them. Kit Riley is an incredible bass player. When I say incredible, I don't mean just hot chops and playing, showing off and impressive that way. They know how to serve. A great player knows how to serve a song, if that makes sense. So we've got, from the original sessions, we've got Susie Ahern, who is a wonderful singer, and she's all over the first album, Get On Board. We've got incredible James Ryan on guitar, and we've got some incredible young Hammond players. And of course, that was our main thing. So at the moment, Samuel Cope playing, Ollie Rolfe, a cast of thousands, Tim Neal, a veteran legend Hammond player who's influenced a lot of Hammond players, and these young blokes particularly coming through. So that's our lineup at the moment, and it's just a blast. We're just having a total ball playing.
You mentioned James Ryan. He'll also be supporting you on some gigs with his band King Canyon as well.
Yes, it's great because James plays in the band. I don't have to pay him at all because he's paying me to play in support spot to us. So yeah, that's the way you do it. It's contra.
What guitars did you use on the original album, and you're still using the same gear?
We're using the same gear. Actually, gear-wise, it's still down to very basic things. I use Fender amps and Vox amps. The same things we were doing demos with, even early days, guitars, Telecasters of various types. Just pedals instead of virtual. How the whole virtual things in the time that we've existed, the digital virtual processing and all that kind of things crept in, and I'm hard pressed to pick it sometimes. But in our band, in the Badloves, we have the real things playing, real pedals. We have Hammond and Leslie. Where possible, where the gig allows, we'll take a real Hammond on stage, and we always have a Leslie. So nothing's changed. You could almost say there's been no evolution, because, as it turns out, why would you emulate something when you can have the real thing? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Even though they're brilliant. And having said that, we all use technology, computers, as part of the process of recording as well, but it's just that stuff doesn't creep into on stage live playing.
Yeah. At the height of the band's popularity back in the Get On Board days, you toured overseas. How much of an audience did you build over there, and do you hope to get back one day?
Yeah, it's been a long time between drinks. Well, mostly Europe. We did a lot of studio work in the US, but never performed there. So Europe was our main focus. But we had, I mean, places like Germany, Scandinavia, Europe generally, audiences are really passionate. It caught me by surprise, and they love their music as we do here. So I was quite stunned that people even listened, and some people even knew the music. So even back then, in the '90s, so it was quite. I was quite taken by that. Uh, yeah, so we're hoping once things lift that we'll get back overseas and resume that relationship with fans over there.
Yeah. This upcoming tour includes dates outside of Victoria. Uh, how good will it be to cross a border?
I know. What an exotic thing. What an exotic thing to do. Who would have thought? Um, but we're doing a lot of road work, so we're sticking to the road for a lot of it, and that allows us to go into regional areas. And we're going to dig up record stores wherever they exist, and go and see people. We're going to do meet and greets. And in the release of this vinyl with Get On Board, we decided we want to go old school with it, because there's something intrinsic missing. You know, you do the airport, you do backstage, play a big festival or something like that. You're remote. You're not actually meeting the audience. And you're missing out on amazing places that we have. So as is the trend at the moment, we're looking to go into regional areas that we haven't been to before, as well as established places. It'll be great fun. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah. One of the big gigs that the band did in the past was the Mushroom 25th anniversary concert. What are your memories of that concert, and what did Michael Gudinski mean to the band?
Well, in a lot of ways, that concert kind of summed up an era, I think, for Michael, and the same for us. It was a pretty wild concept to set up at the MCG and play in front of all those people. And I think what it really did, and what it meant for Michael, I think it cemented the fact that he legitimized uh, um, Australian music to a large extent in the marketplace. He made us feel like we didn't have to just be copycat or whatever. He gave us an authenticity, us being Australian music to a large extent, in as much as it met the market. Obviously, there were always great Australian bands before he came along, and ones that weren't with Michael. But I think he helped bring a sense of all that Australian music and our distinctive voice within that picture, was largely in part from my experience from him, from Michael.
Yeah.
So God knows he was unemployable in any other area. He had to succeed. Crazy man, but incredible figure, incredible.
Yeah. Another gig that you did recently was our Melbourne guitar show. A couple of years ago, the last time we ran it. What are your memories of that?
I was overwhelmed. I'd never heard so much noise, so many guitars. I'd never been to one of those things, and I've always wanted to go, because I love guitars. I'm absolutely besotted with them still to this day. Don't have many, but I love the ones I've got. So it was great to go to see all those people, and amusing to me that people actually are interested to see guitarists play guitar music. You didn't really need to hear a song there. It wasn't really about songs. That was as a songwriter, that's all I really care about, to a large extent. But I was amazed at how much excitement can be generated by just guitars playing loud. and over the top of each other. And look, there were so many brilliant players. It was overwhelming. So many brilliant guitars, new manufacturers, just so exciting, incredible.
Yeah. So where are you guys at with the new album?
We were going great guns pre-COVID, and then it all came grinding to a halt, and we started to track again. We've got a whole lot of stuff done, and it's sounding amazing, I've got to say. We've been cramming in each other's lounge rooms and places like that, recording as a band, and that'll continue on. We'll just continue to record as a band, and then add and subtract to finish the records off. So we're a good way through, probably 50% of the way now. But that COVID really put us back.
Yeah. So
Sure.
what's the grand plan for the Badloves from here?
I do like a grand plan, but there is none. We're pretty much slaves to the amount of material that's coming up, that new material, and we're playing like all get out. Like we've really pushed ahead with the touring, despite all the obstacles, and the recording process is going to be a continual process rather than one big thing a year. It's just continuous because of the technology we have available to us, and also because of the fact that there's so much material. It feels to me like unless you're releasing the stuff, you just get blocked and things slow down. And we're slow enough moving as it is, so we're just going to keep releasing and keep touring. Yeah.
All right, Michael, it's been great to chat. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Greg. Pleasure.